legends we know. Every fight, every feud, every rivalry shows. Zero breaks it down, Ed brings the flame. Together they're calling every match by the name. Putting the blood in line, we rise, we fight. Voices strong under the spotlight. Every slam, every bell, every storyline. This is wrestling. Putting the blood in line. Putting the blood in line. We rise, we fight. Voices strong under the spotlight. Every slam, every bell, every storyline. This is wrestling. Putting the blood in line. Acknowledge us.
Yes, hello, this is Zero. Yeah, and Putting the Blood in Line has returned. And as you can see, I'm joined by my co-host today. Well, I'll pass him over to you. I'll pass over to him to do his own intro. Off we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Edward, AK, and I am the OTE, the original Two Heads Enforcer. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the return of putting the blood in line. And yes, I know this is a little different than for the first couple of episodes that we did about a year ago now. Back then, we used to do it virtually, or not virtually, but we used to do it over X Spaces, just X Spaces and Spotify, you know? Now you can see, I don't know about Zero, but you can see you can see me visually, and that is a great work in progress. I am so happy to have my idea and concept back. Putting the blood in line is back. Let's go.
So we have returned, like what we said. We are going to get into a few bits and pieces in relation to the news, especially the big news that broke today, which we'll get into. But first of all, Ed wants about 5-10 minutes originally to talk about a few bits and pieces, especially being what the day is today and some recent events that's gone on. So I'm going to pass you over to Ed for the first 10 minutes of the show or so to talk about this. So there we go. Over to Ed then.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting on serious Ed right now. Right now you're talking to me out of character, Edward. So 24 years ago today, on September 11, 2001, the one of the biggest tragedies on U.S. soil happened. Many lives were lost. Not just in the World Trade Center attacks, which were the Twin Towers, but also at the Pentagon, in Washington D.C., and also a plane crash in Pennsylvania. And what I want to do right now is I want to give like a 10, like I want to have like a moment of silence for at least 10 seconds just to acknowledge the big elephant in the room, which 24 years ago today we lost. We lost a lot of lives, and a lot of heroes were lost. A lot of people, some people were able to get out, some people did not get out, and those that did get out had to deal with all that after the buildings collapsed. They had to deal with all that smoke that came down Lower Manhattan. Um, yeah, so I just want to give like a 10. Actually, I think because it's a 24-year anniversary, we should give it a 24-second moment of silence. Zero, how does that sound to you?
Actually, I was going to say, do you want me to put the? Oh no, hang on, no, because it's got music on it. I was going to say I could put the 30-second countdown back on again, and we could do 30 or whatever, just to do it that way. But it's got music on in the background, so like I don't know, sort of like what we feel about that one really. But yeah, no, go ahead with that. Actually, yeah, do 24 seconds then if you want to do that one. Then yeah, we'll do the countdown. Then somebody's gonna have to try and do a countdown unless I can obviously unless I've got a file
Yeah, I'll,
here.
I'll
Hold
do it
on,
in my
give me
head.
2 seconds.
I'll,
I'll see if I've got something here.
I'll do it in my head if
Yeah,
need
got.
be.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, right, okay, yeah. So we're going in then for a 24 second silence and whatever. There we go.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking your time. Honor the victims of what happened on 9/11 throughout the East Coast of the United States. Thank you. And also, apart from that, there's one more person that I would like to acknowledge. This guy was he had he to many people he was a great man. Um, he had two kids. He had a wife, and unfortunately, the guy that goes by the name of Charlie Kirk was shot and killed in an assassination at a university in Utah at one of his rallies. So I also want to take a moment of silence for that, but um, it's just unfortunate. Like before we do that moment of silence, like it does not matter if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat. Hell, it doesn't even matter if you like politics, don't like politics. Me, I'm not a fan of politics, but I know some people are. And in this country that I'm at right now, the United States, there is a massive gun problem, and I don't listen. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. Killing somebody over an opinion, especially in a country where you're supposed to have freedom of speech, it does not make any sense. The country that I live in has a huge gun problem, and we all, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, it doesn't matter. We all need to come together as one because at the end of the day, we all have similar goals in life. We all have similar goals in life, and it's unfortunate that they killed him in Utah over an opinion. I just don't understand why people do what they do, but that's just the evil and cruel world that we live in. Um, if you're religious like me, um, if you're religious like me, then please pray for Charlie. Pray for Charlie and his family. Um, and Charlie Kirk, rest in peace. You're taken away so young at 31. Um, it sucks because his kids were also in attendance too. Zero from the outside, because I know you're not in the United States. So from the outside overseas, what are your thoughts on this whole tragedy with Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say too much, obviously, because of course because I'm overseas and stuff like that. But it's yeah, when it came down, I was like, what the hell, basically, and that, and like the worst part about it is all over Twitter yesterday. All I seen was just a video. That's literally it was just flooded and stuff. And then obviously people celebrating and stuff like that. And I've said this before, even when like going back to the whole Hulk Hogan thing. Now I know he obviously wasn't like respected or anything like that by people, but at the end of the day, he's got a family and stuff like that. And as it is, you like imagine it. Obviously, like you're showing this video round of basically like if the kid's seen that, for example, you're seeing your dad get shot over and over again on the internet because it's literally everywhere and stuff. If it's your wife or whatever, you're seeing your husband getting shot over and over again and dying basically on the internet and stuff like that. It's wrong. And then seeing people then going, oh yeah, thank God he's dead and stuff like that, and like and some of the comments and that were just it was just sort of disgusting yesterday, which I was seeing yesterday, and people are still going on about it today. So it's not right. It's not right and stuff like that. And like I even had it in say like the servers that I'm in, obviously like Discord servers and that. I basically made it a rule that the video was not to be shared, and it was that extreme that if the video was seen at all in any of the servers, it was going to be a ban on site, and it was going to be a never come back again. So which is fair enough, really, if you do that one. So, but yeah, that's my take on it, really. To be fair, but
Yeah. So because of what happened in Utah yesterday, he passed away after getting shot.
mm,
When he was on a college campus trying to encourage students. Um, I want to give a 10-second moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Um, So yeah, we'll start the 10-second moment of silence, and then we will get the show on the road of putting the blood in line. But before all of that, this stuff has to be talked about before any entertainment. So 10-second moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. All right. Thank you guys for bearing with us. It has been a rough couple of days, and before all of that too, I probably actually might do another one because Zero, I don't know if you saw this, but somebody, so there's a woman like a
The
refugee,
Ukrainian one.
yeah,
Yeah, the
from
Ukrainian one.
Ukraine,
Yeah.
and a man that was behind her literally used a
Mm,
knife and stabbed her to death, and then
yeah.
ran away, and nobody on the train stepped in to intervene.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. I've
So
seen it one. Yeah.
so that would be
I
the
mean,
last. So that would be the last one I asked of a 10
yeah.
second moment of silence because
Fair enough. Yeah.
dude, these past like this is why you should never take life for granted, bro.
No.
Like
Yeah.
like, dude, I could
Yeah.
be here today, tomorrow gone like that, an hour
Yeah.
gone like that. You don't know when your time
No.
is. That's why I gotta
No.
cherish every single moment that you have instead of laughing at somebody else's death. Tell me what type of
Yeah.
sense it makes.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. It's
But
not
yeah,
right
is
at
there
all. But yeah.
like what are your thoughts on that incident that happened with the
Yeah,
Ukrainian
again,
man?
it was wrong and stuff like that. It should not have happened and stuff. And yeah, it happens and stuff. Like we had one over here where we had a it was a concert. I can't remember who it was for, but like somebody literally walked on in. It was somebody who had literally just come into the country and stuff. Again, I'm not saying anything on this. I'm just literally just, it's not political or anything like that. I'm just saying this. Somebody who literally just come into the country and they walked into a nurse. They walked into like a nursery and stuff, and they were doing like this massive great big like day, and they were meant to be celebrating. I think it was like Ariana Grande or something like that. And this grown adult literally just walked in and just stabbed up loads of kids, and I think about 8 kids or whatever died basically all in one time, and that. So yeah, it was really bad and stuff. So yeah, we have it over here and everything like that as well, obviously, and you know and stuff. So
Oh,
yeah,
are you talking about Ariana Grande went to Manchester about like 7, 8 years ago?
probably something like, I can't remember. There was a few bits and pieces and stuff. It was something going on there, but yeah and stuff.
But yeah,
But
let's give him. It's been about 10 minutes now, so let's give a 10-second moment of silence for
yeah,
her.
and
Um,
then we'll
and
get into the show.
obviously what you were talking about too, and then we'll
Yeah,
get to the show.
so we'll get into the show shortly. So here we go. Let's go.
All right, guys, thank you for bearing with us. It is time
Yeah,
to get the show on the road with putting the blood in line.
yeah. So first of all, then we'll start off. I will do my normal spiel of if anybody does want to join in with the show, do not hesitate to join in with the comments. And I can see we've already got Wrestle Faith from Acknowledge the Dynasty coming through. She said hello, so hello, Wrestle Faith. Good to have you here as normal. And yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. So let's get into first of all then. So one of the big bits of news today. So it has been announced by the Wall Street Journal that Paramount are going to be buying Warner Brothers Discovery, basically the entire lot as well. The original plans that they had was they were only going to buy the streaming side of it, to basically meaning that they would basically own Max and everything like that. But the current plan is now they are buying everything. They're buying all the cable channels a lot, basically. So what that will mean is that everything will then go underneath Paramount as soon as the sale goes through. Now, I've seen a few people basically turn around and saying that, oh, it won't ever happen, and stuff like that. But they've actually got the backing of, hang on, I need to try and get the guy's name now. I forgot what it was now. Ellison. And Ellison's basically like he's literally today become the richest man in the world. He's gone over the top of Elon Musk and everything like that. So
I was gonna ask you that too. I saw that, but I didn't know if it was directly related to that. I was gonna ask you that.
So they've actually got the backing of Ellison, which today he's basically become the richest man in the world, and he is basically putting up all the money for Paramount to buy Warner Brothers Discovery in full. Now, what this basically means is, in a nutshell, is like I said, everything that Warner Brothers Discovery currently has will then be owned by Paramount going forward. I don't know when the sale is going to complete, but it looks like it's going to be happening pretty soon because they want to push it through. That will obviously then mean every single cable channel, every single bit of streaming and everything like that will be underneath Paramount. Now, the issue with this, what people have started picking up today, is this is now going to affect AEW in a big way, which people obviously have not yet realized, but a lot of people are actually catching up to this. Now, what a lot of people don't know, but obviously what has actually been reported several times by other places as well as obviously by myself, is when Nick Khan came into WWE and TKO took over, basically, they signed deals, and in every single TV deal going forward, WWE has exclusivity clauses, meaning that basically, unless a WWE owned, unless either a TKO or a WWE owned wrestling company is on that network, they are not allowed to legally be aired. So what that means is that when Paramount take over, because Paramount currently have the UFC, which is owned by TKO, it means that AEW will not legally be able to air. The only way they'll be able to do it is if basically the TV rights and basically the entire rights of the company are signed over to TKO. That is the only way legally that they'll be able to air on anything Paramount or anything like that, basically. Now, I've seen a lot of people turn around and say, "No, but they can easily air elsewhere." Now, again, going back to the exclusivity clauses, this is the other thing as well, is currently, if you think about it, you've got Paramount, which has the UFC on it, which is TKO. You've then got Netflix, which has got Raw. You've then got Disney, which is ESPN, and also Disney also owns Fox as well. So they can't go on any of the Fox related channels. They can't go on anything that Disney owns or anything like that either. Peacock, they can't go on anything there because of the Saturday Night Main Event and the NXT pay-per-views. NBC Universal and any channel connected to NBC Universal has obviously got SmackDown on it, so they can't go to any of that. And CW as well, they also then have NXT, they have NXT and everyone and stuff like that. And also as well, A&E A&E channels also have WWE documentaries on them, so they can't do that. And then on top of that, it's then wherever
TKO has AEW pinned in a corner.
Yeah. What the other thing is as well that people aren't taking into account as well is TNA have yet to announce their TV deal where they're going. Right. So obviously, wherever TNA go, that's another network out because they're obviously directly connected with WWE. Yeah, because of the partnership, because they're part of a partnership / part ownership of TKO, then they are legally allowed to be aired on those channels. And also as well, they've yet to actually announce where, because even in the also as well, the other one that they're saying as well is in 2026 as well, WWE are announcing a TV deal for AAA as well, an American TV deal for AAA. Now that's deal? Obviously owned by AAA's getting a TV deal as well. So
wait. So what about their deal with YouTube? Or actually, no, you don't have to.
You
don't have to have
a deal with YouTube
because you can literally just hit live.
Yeah. So
what I'm saying, like, I wonder if they'll sign a deal with YouTube TV to keep AAA on YouTube.
I mean, they might have to. That's probably going to be one of the only places they can literally go to would be for
AAA. Since you said TV deal, they can easily go to Amazon Prime, boom,
Yeah,
another,
yeah,
and then make it another place that AEW can't go.
Yeah, and this is the thing is like what this is the thing is like what it will essentially mean is that it's basically like the WCW situation all over again, where the company ended up getting purchased after the network got sold. Now, if you think about it, Warner Brothers Discovery being sold to Paramount, meaning then it's then going to a different network. Then that network then will then have full rights to do whatever they want with that TV show. And with this exclusivity clause, they'll basically just turn around and just say, well, you can't legally air on here. So you can't, we can't do anything with you for it. Now, what's also involved in those contracts as well that I got told, which I didn't even realize about, is it means that WWE actually has first refusal as well. So if they go onto a network which has got WWE content on it, WWE has first refusal for all of their content. So that basically means that WWE could literally turn around and say, no, we're not, we're not allowing you to take any other offers for the company. We're having the company, basically. That's the thing. So, so they can literally snap up the TV rights. They can literally do that if they wanted to. Now, I don't know whether they would want to. They would obviously want some of the wrestlers and stuff like that. But like, it's the whole situation of, I've seen a lot of people turn around and say, oh, TKO are evil and stuff like that because they're literally going around and buying up all the companies and they're going to end up buying up AEW. But the thing is, though, is they're not, because if you think about it, they're with these exclusivity clauses, it's like I've been saying for other aspects as well. It's like you could then say and then like have a Burger King employee working at McDonald's and stuff wearing their uniform. I've used that a few times on other aspects, but I won't get into that one. But yeah, so it's like, you're not going to allow that. You're not going to allow that on there because you're not going to be advertising that. And even if TKO did allow AEW to air on the Paramount channels and elsewhere on there, they would be legally obligated to advertise during the shows everything else that TKO owns. So that would mean that during an AEW show, they would legally have to advertise Raw. They would legally have to advertise SmackDown, NXT, all the UFC stuff and that. So that's something that obviously AEW would not want to do. So obviously where they wouldn't want to do that, the only options that they would have would to either be to sell the company or, basically like look for a network within, I would say, probably the next couple of weeks before this sale goes through and sign a deal with one of those networks that TKO aren't associated with and stuff, and just hope and pray that TNA aren't going on to there or the AAA ain't going to go on to there or whatever. One of the only other options is, like I said, is like what you said as well, is they could literally just air every single Dynamite and whatever it is on YouTube for free every week. That's literally the only place. Or or they literally move it all to streaming and they build their own network, which like they can literally build like their own like network and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not gonna work out for AEW.
No, because then that's no. Yeah, so that'd be the only other thing there, basically. I've obviously seen somebody in the comments saying, what about the talent contracts? That's the thing, is because of the TV deals and because of the TV network deals and stuff like that, basically, and this exclusivity clauses, once the company sold, whoever they sell them to, they would legally own those contracts. So say, for example, like WWE, the WWE first refusal thing, which I've been told is obviously like correct, which I've seen a few other people reporting that would literally mean that WWE could turn around and say, right, we want you as talent and stuff, sign them to WWE. It's essentially like when WWE purchased AAA. Basically, they then legally own those talent contracts. Yeah. So that would mean that basically then all of their talent would literally go underneath WWE, and then the talent would then have to choose whether they want to sign a WWE contract or whether they want to be released from the company. So that would then be up to said talent at the time, to whether they would want to do that. So that's the that's the big thing there, and that's obviously the big talking point today. Now, nobody knows when the sale is going to go through. Nobody knows, obviously, like sort of like the finer details on whether the channels are going to actually stay as cable channels, because I know what was going around originally, because this is the second report from it, but I know what Paramount were planning originally was they were going to merge everything to one, and they were going to make one mega great big streaming app and put everything on streaming. So they were essentially going to get rid of the cable channels. That was the original report that went round. They were essentially going to get rid of the cable channels.
They were going to
and
get rid
that.
of CBS?
Yeah, I can't remember when this was reported and that, but I seen it again. It could have been a Wall Street Journal one beforehand as well. Was
Okay, so that means every
Yeah.
NFL game, apart from WWE, that means every NFL game, the news, and then every news channel, all of
Yeah.
those would be on that app, right?
Well, that's the thing is, yeah, because what I seen originally is that they were going to merge, because like I said, the original plan was going to be is that they were meant to just be buying the streaming side of Warner Brothers. So they were going to be buying Max. And then what they were going to do then was then going to combine Paramount Plus and Max together. So then that would then mean that anything underneath, well, essentially Max would essentially go, and it would just all form into Paramount Plus. So they would then just form it all into that and just make this mega streaming app. Now, I don't know whether they're still planning on doing that with the cable channels, but I know as part of the deal, because this was also mentioned in the Wall Street Journal report that came down, as part of the sell with Peacock. Well, sorry, not with Peacock, with Paramount Plus. Sorry, they are buying. They're buying everything. Literally, they are buying all the cable channels and everything. So if they want to do that still, and they want to get rid of the cable channels, they are well within their right to do that. So if they then want to turn around and be like, no, we're getting rid of TNT, no, we're getting rid of TBS, we're getting rid of all this, and they want to put them all on the app, then it all goes onto the app.
Oh yeah,
it's as simple as that. As soon as that sale goes through, and that, yeah.
That's true,
So,
because I forgot they also own.
Yeah.
I forgot they also own TNT, True TV, TBS.
Yeah.
All of that, because all of that is under
Yeah.
Warner Brothers. And you said that they bought Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the sales go. The sales, basically, yeah. The sale's not finalized yet, but it's what Paramount have turned around and said is that basically that they've got the richest man in the world basically backing them, and they have essentially, well, it's in the early stages of the sale, and it's probably going to be completed very soon. I would have thought. So, yeah, essentially, what people have to hope for is that, Paramount either keep the TV channels on there as cable channels, or they just, they sort of explain it a lot more better. Like, it probably could end up going the same way as what's the new one that's just come up? ESPN. It could potentially go like ESPN, where basically they've moved, where they've moved most of that onto the
like
ESPN Plus app and stuff.
Yeah, so like no, it's not ESPN Plus
or whatever it's called. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, ESPN Unlimited.
That's it. Yeah. Well, yeah. So it'd be that. Yeah. So that's essentially what it's going to be.
Speaking of that, they've officially, because every day I've been checking their ESPN Unlimited schedule to see if WWE was added onto it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, they finally added it. They finally added the Pro Wrestling tab, and it said WrestlePalooza on it. So
yeah. I mean, let's as an example here, because like a lot of people have turned around and basically said, like, oh no, WWE can't legally do that with the TKO contracts and stuff like that. Because I've seen a couple of comments about that this evening. As an example here, the day of that ESPN deal being announced with WWE and stuff, basically they used to have a AEW tab on there, and within an hour.
Oh yeah, they did. I know they did it.
Yeah. Within an hour of the WWE deal being announced, they deleted everything AEW to do with it, and now ESPN are now not legally allowed to cover anything AEW, and that unless given the go ahead by TKO, which they're never going to get. So if people turn around and say, oh, but they can't legally do that, this can't go through and stuff like, they can't do that. They can. They've got these exclusivity clauses in there, and it's worldwide as well. So, like, as an example over here, I'll give you an example over here in the UK. We originally had, well, when we originally moved from Sky for WWE content, we moved from Sky to TNT Sports and that.
Yeah.
obviously TNT
I think
Sports.
'cause I think TNT. What happened? They bought Sky, right?
Yeah, well, no, they didn't. No. They brought into BT Sports. That's what it was. It was BT Sports they brought
Okay,
out. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and yes, and then when TNT took over, basically because of this exclusivity clause that was in place, legally AEW could not air on the TNT channels over here because we actually had TNT Sports over here. So AEW could have legally aired over here on those channels, but they could have technically aired over here on those channels, but because of the exclusivity clauses, they couldn't. So they then had to put it on a different channel, which over here was called, which is ITV. Now that's a free to air channel, so like it's basically available to everyone all over the UK. And what they done as well was they put it on at a stupid time. I do believe we had Dynamite on at like it was 11 p.m. on a Friday evening. Basically, they put it on at. So so we didn't even get it live and that. So that's sort of what they done in the end. That's how bad it got, was because of this exclusivity clause. They actually had to move AEW to a channel on a different day completely, and that at a different time completely. It wasn't live or anything like that. And the only way which we could get it over here was by signing up to like Triller TV or stuff like that. So we then had to then pay money to watch it through an app, which half the time either didn't work or and that, or like kept breaking and stuff like that. So it's going to be about this. It's going to be a bad time for a lot in AEW, and I expect they're probably panicking now they've seen this news. But if it was me from a business sense, now that this news has come down, rather than waiting, personally, because obviously I own a couple of businesses myself and stuff like that, so it's putting my businessman head on now. Personally, what I would do is, if I was Tony Khan, I know he's probably not listening to this, but
No,
if I was Tony Khan,
hey, don't give him no tips. We don't like
okay, so
AEW around here.
no, okay, no, okay, well, okay,
WWE.
well,
Don't give
okay.
him no tips.
Well, I'm going to say this anyway because obviously this is like
you can say it to me off stream, but on
right.
stream, come on, don't give him no tips because
okay then.
We're rooting for AEW's downfall.
Yeah, okay. Well, all I'm going to say then is basically like Tony needs to get his ass in gear and not think that he's invincible. He's got to drop the act that he's invincible, and basically he needs to get his ass in gear and get things sorted out, because otherwise he's going to end up with no TV deal. He's going to end up with no TV home and stuff, and all these contracts that are already in place. Fine, yeah, they've got a deal. Well, they've got a deal till next year, but that's even if TKO allows them to fulfill that contract. That's the thing. Because with a buyout of a company, those TV deals can easily be overridden and everything like that. So that's that. But yeah, well, we spent a bit of time on that now. Yeah, so that's that first bit of news there. So that's a pretty pretty big news for that one, and we have covered about 20 minutes on that one. So moving on, there's a few bits and pieces which we'll quickly run through, and then we'll do one other bit of news, and then we'll get into something else. Then obviously the whole premise of the show is putting the blood in line, so obviously it is bloodline related, so we will get into a little bit of bloodline bit later on. But let's just quickly run through a few bits and pieces. I'll quickly run through them. We'll quickly do a thing there. So it's been announced that Brock and Cena will main event WrestlePalooza, so it won't be a title match. It'll be Brock versus Cena. There has also been a lot come down today from WrestleVote. So WrestleVote was someone that said that NXT is set to return to the theatre at Madison Square Gardens on November the 18th for one of their shows. So that'd be pretty good there. Also, WWE will not be hosting its annual post-live event at Madison Square Gardens this year. They don't know what they're doing with it. They haven't said whether they're actually giving them it off or whatever, but they're not planning on doing that event, apparently. Apparently this year, WWE have got no plans to host their basically their their show that they normally do on the 26th of December at MSG. They normally do a house show at MSG on the 26th of December.
No, I was not aware of that.
Oh, they do it every year. It's normally a house show whereas this year it falls on a Friday. But at the minute, there's no plans to host a single show on that day. So it'll either be a pre-recorded SmackDown, or it'll be like a whatever. Yeah, but normally they end up doing an actual house show, so they're actually back on the road on the 26th and that, like doing a house show in the evening. So, and it's always at Madison Square Gardens every single year. It's always at MSG and that. So on the 26th of December. But yeah, but they're not doing that this year. Um, so what's this as well? But it says, however, WWE will be going to Madison Square Gardens instead in November, where John Cena will make his final appearance at the iconic venue. So they're obviously doing that in November instead, and they're doing it as one of Cena's final ones there.
John Cena's last time at Madison
Yeah,
Square, that one's gonna hit different.
that one is, yeah.
Are,
Couple of,
is Monday Night Raw gonna be in Brooklyn anytime soon before the end of the year?
don't know. I have no clue. I haven't even checked the scheduling for that one. I have
Because
no clue.
because I'd like to see him in Brooklyn. Like I said, the very first time I ever saw him live in person,
Yeah,
December 28th, 2015, Barclays Center,
yeah,
Brooklyn, New York. When I used to live in the city
yeah,
of New York, he challenged Alberto Del Rio for the United States Championship. And then during the match, the League of Nations came in, interrupted the match. Then
yeah.
I think the Usos came out and interrupted. That was back when they had face paint. Then Roman came out and was Superman punching. Then what's his name? Vincent Kennedy McMahon literally came out after he got arrested and
Yeah.
said, Roman Reigns, you will defend that World Heavyweight Championship next Monday night against Sheamus. Happy New Year.
Fair enough.
Happy New Year. Yeah, man. That was my first time ever seeing John Cena and Roman Reigns in person.
Oh, fair enough.
But
That's cool.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm asking if they're gonna have one more Monday Night Raw in Brooklyn before he retires, because that one will hit me like.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to have a look through. If anyone knows, please leave a comment in the please leave a comment and I'll try and get around to them the best I can do.
I'm guessing one
So
more in Detroit, because they're literally just in Detroit for a Monday Night Raw like last month. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, he could do one, but we're obviously like I said, if anyone does know, please leave a comment and stuff like that, and I'll read it out. So some other bits and pieces. So Saraya, obviously Paige in WWE, she had a interview, I believe it was today, and she was asked on her WWE or whether she would ever return to WWE. Now she turned around and said she's taking a bit of time out at the moment. However, she does miss the locker rooms, and she also misses being Paige, and she wants to be Paige again soon. So it sounds like she's coming back. She's basically giving it away that she's coming back and stuff. Now, obviously with AJ Lee back, which we'll talk about in a minute. With AJ Lee in that back, it's more than likely that Paige is going to be back. Well, Paige
yeah,
slash
man.
Saraya,
Look, we literally have the whole Divas era.
yeah,
Like we literally have all of the best stars in the Diva era. We literally have Nikki Bella, AJ Lee, and now
yeah,
we may get Paige back. I mean, come on, bro.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
literally
yeah,
the entire. That's right before the Four Horsewomen era. That's the whole Divas
yeah.
era.
Yep, yep. Yeah, that's that. Two more bits and pieces of news. One's one thing which has come down from somebody else, and then we're going to cover something else big as well, which I forgot to mention at the beginning, but we'll get into that one, and then we'll do the bloodline thing to end it off with. So, one of the other bits and pieces of news then is it's been revealed that Jerry Lawler has suffered another stroke, but he is
No,
recovering at the moment. Yeah, so Jerry Lawler has actually suffered another stroke, but he is apparently at home and recovering. So get well soon, Jerry Lawler. I will just say that one. I don't know when it was. It just obviously came down earlier on, but yeah, that he has actually suffered another one. So yeah, for that
so
one.
so this is his like man. So
Yeah, there's
another
loads.
stroke after what happened on that Monday Night Raw like 11, 12 years ago.
He's had more since then. This is about his fourth or fifth one, I do believe, as far as I'm aware, and stuff. And that.
And he's at
But
the age where that having he's listen, people young age, yeah, they can
mm,
pass away too, but it's more
yeah,
likely for somebody of his age, especially after having that specific thing,
yeah,
heart attack. I just pray for him, man.
yeah. I mean, that's obviously get well soon, Jerry Lawler and stuff like that. It's I don't know, like. Yeah, I can't really say too much on it, but yeah, that's that one. So one of the other bits and pieces of news this week, which I was trying to avoid, but we've got to talk about it, is Saudi Arabia and WrestleMania 43. Now,
I'm not
they
mad
got
about
leaked.
it because
Yeah,
I'm not mad about it because if you
yeah,
heard that, do you remember that Saudi Arabia crowd
yeah,
when they were there earlier
yeah,
this year?
yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah, yeah. It was
I'm
pretty
not
good. Yeah,
mad about it at all.
yeah. So again,
The only
before I
problem
get into this, let's
was
well,
the only problem I had is
yeah,
I just wish that specific WrestleMania 43 was in Detroit because if you look at the history, WrestleMania 3, well, it wasn't in
yeah,
Detroit, but it was in Michigan. 20 years
yeah,
later, WrestleMania 23 in 2007,
yeah,
when they went into Ford Field in Detroit. So
yeah,
I wanted it to be another 20 years later for them to return to Detroit. I just wish that
yeah.
the Saudi one could have been 2028 or something. But oh well.
There's a reason behind it, which I'll get into in a minute. But yeah, so it's been leaked out that Saudi Arabia is getting WrestleMania 43. This has been confirmed as being correct, and in a report that came out today, I think it was PW Insider. Data man said that the actual plan was for the official announcement to be made when WWE are in Las Vegas next, which is on Friday for well, they're there anyway this Friday, aren't they, for AAA and stuff like that. So that's when the announcement was meant to be getting made properly, was this Friday for that one. As part of it as well, it has Tumana said that basically the Saudis have been given some sort of creative control, and they are now currently, well, a lot of the legends are being called for the event. So they are
Oh,
planning to have they're planning on having HBK there. They're planning on having Undertaker there. They're planning on having The Rock there and everything like that. Now, some of the current talks going on there is that that's probably where we're going to end up having Rock versus Roman. If they're still doing the match, that's probably where we're going to have it, because they'll
I
have
mean,
Rock
that's
there,
fine. That's fine with
for it,
me. I just,
you know.
it, that's fine with me. The
Yeah,
Saudi Arabia crowd last time they were there were hot. The only
yeah,
thing now that you've just said it that I have a problem with is Saudi having a little bit of creative control.
yeah.
That's
I mean, what is? I can't remember who said it. I think it could have been Bobby, or obviously who's like on my on my team and stuff like that.
yeah.
He
Was
said,
that yesterday for Uncut?
no, this was earlier on today when we were talking about this. It was either Bobby or someone else. Basically, I can't remember who it was, but data man said, "Oh, the Saudis are now gonna try and request Umaga versus Ultimate Warrior and that in the main event or something like that." And like, yeah, a bit of a problem with that one there, isn't it? But yeah, so but no, that's the
By the
thing
way,
is, yeah,
rest in peace to both of them. By the way.
yeah, yeah, recipe, yeah. So that's some of the things there, is that yeah, they've been given a sort of bit of creative control and stuff, and they've requested all the big names there, so they're bringing a lot of people out of retirement to be on that show. Now,
Oh,
whether that,
so not just sitting in the crowd, actually
well,
actually going inside of the ring.
this is the thing, is they don't know. A couple of them who can still go will more than likely have a match and everything for that. Now,
Shawn
this is what's
Michaels.
making me say is that, well, possibly,
Imagine we
possibly
get
that one
Shawn
there.
Michaels versus Seth Rollins.
Well, yeah, you could get that one. I mean, this is what's making me say is that it's looking like at the moment is that that's likely going to be the location for Rock versus Roman. They want to make. They're saying they want to make that the biggest WrestleMania sort of ever. Now, if they're going to have the Rock over there, obviously, if he can do, they're going to want him to wrestle. That's the thing, that they're going to want him to wrestle and stuff like that for it. So if they build it right and stuff and they give it enough time frame, they're probably going to have it. That's probably where that match is going to be. I hate to say that, because obviously a lot of people would want that match on American soil so that they can see it, and they also wouldn't want to watch it at like 1 p.m. in the afternoon or whatever time it would be for you guys over there. But it's
I mean, it's a weekend. That's fine.
yeah, but some people do still working on the weekends, don't they? So that's the thing.
That's true.
But yeah, so
But
it's
you guys overseas, you've had to deal with that with WrestleMania for the last like 41 years. So
yeah, basically. Yeah, no, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, we normally have to watch it at like 1 o'clock in the morning. All of our pay per
That's
views.
what I'm saying. And
So,
that's how it's been for 41 years.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah. There was something which I seen earlier on. Now I can't remember what it was, but the reason why it's in Saudi for 43 is it's to do with an anniversary. I do believe it's to do with it's like where like countries are like a certain number of years old or whatever it is, and that it's like a
Yeah.
massive anniversary of how many years Saudi Arabia has essentially been established, and that in
Oh,
2027. So that's what it
okay.
is. So that year they're wanting to get all the big events, and it's not just going to be WrestleMania that year. They're having a lot of events and stuff, and there's even some talks of to go along with things like that. They might
Wait,
even
are
move
they
Mania.
going to be extending? So is Saudi is not just for professional wrestling, but because Saudi Vision 2030, that's not just professional wrestling, but are they going to be extending Saudi Vision 2030 to Saudi Vision 2040 or something like that?
Probably, I expect so. It'll probably be stuff like that. I don't know. That's the thing. But I've been saying this for quite a while. It was always inevitable that Saudi Arabia was going to get a WrestleMania. They've got the money to do it, and this is the thing is I've seen a lot of people turn around and saying, "Oh, but like they don't deserve it" and stuff like that, and like, "Oh, it should be an American country." But
Money talks, bro. Money talks.
yeah, money talks, and this is what I've been trying to say to people is, as an example, we've seen it already with Vegas. The reason why they changed Mania for next year from New Orleans to Vegas was simply because Vegas
Yeah,
outbid New Orleans. Yeah, Vegas outbid New Orleans. They turned around and said, "We want it again. Here's X amount of money in that," and they essentially, they paid more for it. Now, obviously, Saudi Arabia is one of the richest countries, one of, if not one of the richest countries in the world and stuff. And I was saying this: if they wanted to, Saudi Arabia could literally turn around and say, we want an event here every single month. Here's the money for it." And they could literally outbid for every single pay per view if they wanted to, and they've got the money to do it, but they're not. Obviously, they won't do that because, of course, they want to give other things there. But that is basically the reason why Saudi Arabia have it that time is because of the big like milestone celebration for the establishment of the country or whatever it was. The money as well that they've obviously paid for it because they've literally outbid every other country and stuff like that basically. So this is the thing, and it's yes, it might be bad that it's in Saudi and stuff like that, and I've seen a lot of people turning around and saying, but what about the women and stuff like that? They're becoming more westernized over there. If you haven't noticed from like some of the things before, they're allowing the women over there to wrestle and stuff, which they never used to be able to do. Yeah, fine, they've got to cover up, but what's a bit of clothing? That's the thing. What's a bit of clothing over there? They're allowing the women to wrestle is the point. It would have been even worse if they obviously turned around and said no women on the show at all.
It's because I'm gonna speak for them real quick.
Yeah,
it's because some of them feel like why do we have to and men don't?
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So
yeah, obviously, yeah, I get it. Yeah,
I can see their point. Yeah, I can 100% see their point, but
yeah, obviously, yeah, and I do as well. In that,
yeah, I'm not the government of Saudi Arabia, so
no. But this is the thing: is like that they're allowing the women to wrestle and stuff, and it would have been even worse if they basically turned around and said no women whatsoever. They could literally turn around and say no, we're not allowing any women there whatsoever. So it would then literally be a WrestleMania with no women. But but as an example, like next year, we're getting the Royal Rumble over in Saudi Arabia. So you're going to have an entire women's Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia for it. So it's going to be that's going to show you sort of how much they've changed. Is they're allowing a women's Royal Rumble over there, with 30 women plus more on that show as well.
I feel like they should make Royal Rumble next year 2 nights.
They probably will do, and that. But I know obviously there was talks in that beforehand, and even Ari Emanuel has come out and stated that by 2027, the majority of the events that WWE hold will be 2-night events and stuff. The majority of them will be 2-night events, and it's also come down today again. More confirmation. I can't remember who it was, but this has been on the cards for a while as well. Is there's going to be a lot of international shows as well. Like WWE are planning at least 5 or 6 international, well, 5, 6, even 7 international shows for all their pay per
Honestly,
views and
they should
stuff.
do more
Come
than that.
26, 27. And you
They
know,
should do more than that, especially with Raw. Listen, as a viewer over here in the United States,
mm,
I actually love watching Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown so early.
mm,
Like,
yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
this is the thing is, well,
it's an experience because up until like I want to
yeah,
say early last year,
yeah,
like that was never an experience that the. I mean,
no,
yeah, 10 years ago, WWE did go to the UK to do a couple Monday Night Raw tapings, but
yeah,
listen,
no,
every single week for like 1 month straight or 1.5 months straight. Because remember that road to WrestleMania, man,
yeah,
I loved it, man. I got to
mm,
I didn't have to wait all day. They just got to the point, gave us great shows, and then
yeah,
waited until the next Monday Night Raw, the next Friday Night SmackDown. Man,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like I love watching SmackDown and Raw live
yeah.
when
Well,
the sun is out, man. Like,
yeah. Well, this is the thing is, obviously with all these international shows as well, obviously if they are planning on doing those, because those events that they're saying is going to be pay-per-views. Now with those pay-per-views, they would get the SmackDown, the pay-per-view, and the Raw afterwards in it. So not only would that country then just get the pay-per-view, they would essentially get 3 events out of that deal for it. So so they could end up paying X amount of money and they would get 3 shows there for it, and also as well, then saying like it's over here, for example, or it's in France or whatever, you then also then get a European tour beforehand because they always tour when they come off on when they go out of America. They always tour and that and stuff like that either wherever they're going around there. So say like when they went to France, they done a lot of shows over here, and they also done like Spain and Italy and stuff
oh
like
yeah,
that. And
they did
and stuff.
apart from televised shows, they did
Yeah,
multiple house shows.
yeah,
So,
yeah, which they haven't been doing in ages, and that's obviously so it means that the talent and that get more sort of time, in ring and stuff like that, and in front of people. And house shows, I'll tell you now, are a lot more cheaper than your Monday Night Raws and Smackdowns and stuff like that. So so you can still go and see wrestling with some of your favorite wrestlers and that for a lot cheaper at the house shows. So
yeah,
that's
so when I
probably
was
the
in
best thing to do.
in Detroit,
Yeah,
I went to a house. I've been to Raw, SmackDown, and a house show.
yeah,
I went to a house show. It was the WWE Live Holiday Tour, December 27, 2023.
yeah,
It was one of the best shows that I've ever watched, bro. Like I'm
yeah.
telling you, and it wasn't televised.
Mm.
That's the crazy part about it.
No, yeah. Well, that where it's not televised, obviously they can do a lot more. That's the thing; they can do a lot more on these house shows and stuff, and they generally do. You can have other moments and stuff that they don't need to, they don't need to worry about like TV constraints and stuff like that because at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
like when they play with the crowd.
yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? So that's that there. But no, that's well, we've covered a bit on that now. We're coming to the end of it, so let's move into a bit of Bloodline news because of course this is putting the blood in line as it is. So
Put your
actually no,
ones in the sky
yeah,
because we have.
yeah,
Hold on, Zero. Put
yeah,
your
go on.
ones in the sky because we are in the putting the blood in line main event. Let's
Yes, we are.
go.
Let's go. So before we get into that, actually, I will just read through some of the comments because I will forget. So this is the thing. I hate leaving comments, so I will forget. So Modest Music One, hello, welcome to the show. I see you're normally here for all the shows, so that's pretty cool. I do appreciate you showing up. So Modest Music One, Savannah said, first of all, Rock versus Roman should have been at number 40. It's going to feel so lifeless now. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree. It should have been done at 40, but it's there was obviously things and stuff like when they didn't do it and stuff. So yeah, it's yeah, unfortunately, obviously it's not going to be done there. Well, it's like I said, it's probably going to be done at 43 now. That's more than likely what's happening. Um, so and then Modest Music again. Someone said, "Do you Zero or Ed ever see Vince getting power back in WWE?" I ask because I feel it has been terrible under Noseman's booking. Wrestling
No,
boom, my ass.
I don't see him getting power back in WWE, but I do see him somehow creating another company.
I mean, well, he's got that entertainment company and stuff now, hasn't he, or whatever it is. So, I mean, he's already got another company already. Now, the question would be is obviously like, I mean, this is the thing is never say never, I would say in my eyes, because I understand, yes, there's like not issues and stuff like that, but obviously Brock Lesnar was mentioned on things, and even Nick Khan, he went on TV and not on TV, sorry, he went on an interview, and his clear statement to everybody was, if no criminal convictions have been brought, then we have no problems with bringing anybody back, basically. So that's the thing. So if Vince, well, I would say not if, but when Vince wins, because we know Vince is going to win this, because at the end of the day, well,
It's just
this is the other thing as well.
This is gonna be get off topic.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna say it anyway. It's just like how Diddy kind of won his case a little bit.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing as well. What people are forgetting is, right,
It's funny.
Well, this is what I keep saying to people as well, is at the end of the day, if a criminal conviction is brought against Vince and that, his best friend is the president of the United States, so Trump can easily just come out and just basically just acquit him basically of everything. So at the end of the day, all these people who are fighting for and turn around and say, oh, Vince needs to serve jail time. Trust me, Vince is never going to serve a day in jail at all. Even if he does get sentenced to anything, Trump's going to basically turn around and say, "You override that right now." Basically,
This time it won't be the battle of the billionaires. No. This time it'll be the billionaires versus the spectators.
Yeah. And this will be the thing. Like I said, it's Trump will literally be like, "You overturn that right now." Basically, that's that'll be the thing. So it's. So all these people obviously are wishing that Vince serves jail time. You've got no chance. He's going to serve no jail time at all, basically, and stuff.
Maybe except for the closely following thing, but that's different.
Yeah, that'd be it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I can't even see that happening anyway. I can't even see any convictions being brought against him because
he has enough money to bail himself out. So
yeah. Well, yeah. So that's the thing. So I mean, so nothing. I don't think anything's going to come from it. But obviously, that's gone off topic there. So we are in the main event. Like I said, we're going into overtime as well because this is coming up to the hour-long mark that we would normally do. But of course, we have added in extra bits this week, so we've had lots of talking points. So I will just continue as we do. So as Ed said, welcome to your main event of the show. So a bit of bloodline things. So Jimmy and Jay, Jimmy and Jay, they have reformed. Now I've seen a lot of people saying, "Is Jay going to turn heel? Is Jay going to, and stuff like." Are the Usos going to stay together now?
I don't think he's going to turn heel, but I think he's going to get a little more edgy. Do you remember Jay Uso on the build up to SummerSlam 2023? Do you remember Jay Uso immediately after SummerSlam 2023? Even his first couple of months when he started doing the Yeet thing, when he started becoming Yeet Man, he was edgy. He was my favorite version of Jay Uso I've ever seen. He was ruthless on that mic. He was not using catchphrases every single time. He was not doing run it back. No, he was being serious. I love myself serious. Jay. I love myself serious. Main event Jay Uso.
Yep. And all I'm going to say is obviously, as people know online and stuff, and this has been proven several times, is I am literally the Bloodline guy. And this is what started off this show originally, is the Bloodline news I always seem to get head on, basically. Like, if you're in the Discord and everything like, you'll notice that I had the Usos reforming like back 6 months ago and stuff, sort of like I am sort of like the guy there now for that one. So from some bits and pieces that I know of is no, they are not going to be breaking up. No, they're not turning heel. Essentially what they're doing is as I was told, is that comment by Jimmy of you're starting to sound a lot like Roman is the route that they're going to go down. So you've got to think Roman is not on TV every week and stuff. They need somebody like Roman about. So they make Jay the next Roman. That Jay's already in that spot. Jay will basically be like what they've basically done is they built Jay up to be the next leader. So Roman, he's going to go back to like the right hand man again and stuff. So when Roman's not there, Jay will be the one making the decisions. So Jay will then be the one out of those two who will make those decisions. Jay will be the one who will be getting the matches. Jay will basically be the one like what you said, the serious Jay. Now, I hate to say this, but I would appreciate the yeet stuff whilst we've got it, because that ain't going to be around for long. That yeet
I
thing
kind
is
of agree,
going.
man. Like
Yeah,
I love his 4 letters, 1 word.
yeah,
Yeah. I love it,
yeah.
but at the same time, at some point, all good things come to an end. We
Yeah,
literally saw that with the bloodline, with the original bloodline. All good
yeah,
things come to an end,
yeah,
man. Like it's
yeah,
gonna suck, but
yeah.
in its replacement, we are going to get edgier Jay. I'm telling you guys, Jay Uso is at his best when he is edgy, when he is angry. Do you look? I understand he was a heel, but do you remember when Jay Uso said, "I don't give a damn what the tribal chief said"? Do you remember that? Like,
Yeah, do you? Oh, hang on, I think I
bro,
frozen. Yeah, I do.
that's
So
the
yeah, I
Jay
frozen.
Uso.
Yeah.
That is the Jay Uso that I want back,
Mm.
and that is the. I know you said they're not going to turn him heel, but later on down the road, that is the
Yeah.
perfect way to have him turn heel, and it will set up one last. And you said that Triple H likes trilogies, right? So
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
match was the Usos versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. The second match,
Yeah.
Roman versus Jay at SummerSlam in Detroit, and the
Yeah.
third trilogy match, heel main event, Jay Uso versus face OTC1 Roman Reigns. Do you see what I did there?
Yeah. Did you? And
Absolute cinema.
well, as WrestleFaith just said, it's OTC1 and OTC2. Basically, yeah, that's what you're going to be getting.
And they can do that. I know
Yeah.
they did this whole OTC one just to give Roman his own moniker against Cody, but they can also. That's the thing about it is, okay, you call him OTC 1, Jey Uso is going to be OTC 2.
And this kind of thing is like, expect. I don't know when it's going to be, but expect at some point, basically that you'll see Roman officially say to Jay backstage, like, you're the next leader. It'll be something along those lines. Is like Roman will go up to Jay and officially anoint him as, as the next leader and stuff. He'll turn around and say, I'm not going to be about much. You run this, basically. You're you're basically me. It's going to be along those lines. So that's the route which they're going down, and that's why we're seeing this edgier Jey Uso, and this is why we're going to see, this sort of changing it now. The Usos as well are going to be back as a tag team. They are officially back as a tag team now, and expect their theme back soon. Again, I don't know when exactly.
No way.
But expect their theme back soon. Like that's
wait, hold on.
they're
Wait, down. Hold on, down with that or done with that?
I think it's the down
since.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
yeah, down since.
Yeah.
No way we're getting that theme.
Expect that back soon, because that's in the works as well. Is that will be back soon at some point. And what I keep getting told as well is they are back for one more tag team championship run. So at some point they will win those titles. Now I can see that they're going to do it, and then they're going to do a whole thing again with the New Day. And I was saying this past week as well. Is that we're going to get those classic matches back again between the Usos and the New Day, and that will fit into the whole ruining the tag team storyline that obviously the New Day and that have got going on, because of making them face off against the Usos and stuff. And they always gave us classic matches. I know it's obviously rinse and repeat, as some people say, but those two teams always gave us classic matches and stuff, and that's what we need again for the tag team division and stuff. And and that's why, yes, I know some people are going to try and say, oh, they've done this, we've seen this 100 times and stuff like that. It's fine. You know, at the end of the day, it's the Usos versus the New Day. Probably two of the best damn tag teams in WWE that we've got at the moment and stuff.
Those are two of the top. Look, in my opinion, those are the two. Forget the heel New Day. Nobody cares about heel New Day.
Yeah.
But if you bring back face New Day, easily those two tag teams right there are, in my opinion, top 10 greatest of all time.
Yeah. Right, so we go then. So I'll just quickly go through some of the comments then. So WrestleFace said Jimmy as the new wise man. I don't think they're going to need a wise man for it. You know, they're obviously, this is why they're going to be it. So essentially, say like the route they'll go down is where Jay will then be left in charge. You know where Paul Heyman used to always turn around and be like, call Roman Reigns and stuff. You'll have Jay basically turn around and saying, call Roman Reigns. And that's then when you'll know it. So then you'll know shit's going to get serious as it is when you literally have Jay turn around and pull out his phone and go call Roman Reigns instead of what Paul Heyman used to do and stuff like that. But, you know, it'd be like calling the tribe, rather than saying like call Roman Reigns, it'd be like calling the tribal chief or something, or like calling the chief, you know, it'd be something like that they'll do it with. So that's what they'll do it as, rather than like having the wise man. It'll just be the two brothers and stuff, and maybe even Jacob as well comes over, because you know Jacob could come over. So if you think about it,
Jacob was the enforcer.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, is they could literally then turn around and do, because don't forget Jimmy and Jacob was doing something, so bring Jacob over to that one as well. So that one, and so you've still then got that little mini faction there. So you've then got Jay essentially running it as the new tribal chief, and you've then got Jimmy and Jacob then as, you know, as sort of like the other ones there as well. And that one as well, you've then got the opportunity then to say maybe then have Jay still doing singles matches, and then Jimmy and Jacob doing tag team or something, or you know, or you then can then have Jacob doing the singles matches and the Usos doing the tag matches, you know, and you can do it that way, and they can also then freebird the tag team titles as well, you know. So that's some other bits and pieces there. Last comment then as well that WrestleFaith has left is there anything on the tribal chief title? I know there's a replica on the WWE shop. You don't have a replica if you don't have the real one. That tribal chief title was meant to be in for the Rock versus Roman match, which was planned for WrestleMania. Now, obviously, that's the reason why they brought it out for, was because that was meant to be what they were meant to be fighting for. And also then they changed it to the Solo. It was meant to then be also as well then between Solo and Roman, which was meant to then also then be at WrestleMania. But then, of course, they moved it to that Netflix one, and they fought over the Ulafala instead. So that title, the reason why it's on there is it was originally made for that. They do still have it. It is in the warehouse, but I don't know whether it's ever going to see light of day. They might obviously bring it out if they do end up doing, you know, like Roman versus Rock at 43. They might bring it out for that or whatever. But at this moment in time, yes, they have made one. It's in the WWE warehouse, basically. That's the best way that I can answer that one. So I've got no other answers for that. But yeah, that's sort of the Bloodline bit of news at the end there, which we can talk about. We will have more next week. You know, but yes, so thank you for watching our first show back of Putting the Blood in Line, as it is. Now, yeah, sorry, we've obviously overran a little bit today, but it was a slightly different start to the show today. But thank you for bearing with us and that. And before we go off then, so WrestleFaith, that is what I thought it was for. Dang, should have used it. Last question with the tribal chief: is he possibly going to steal the Ula? Last question with the tribal chief: is he possibly going to steal the Ulafala? Who? Which tribe? Oh, tribal thief. Sorry, tribal thief. Sorry, I read that as tribal chief. No, it's tribal thief.
You better not put your hands on that Ulafala, or I
don't know. I'm not sure on that one, WrestleFaith. That's not something that I'm aware of, but I can try and find out. You know me as well. I can easily drop you a message and let you know. But yeah, so I'm not sure on that one, but I can ask and everything like that. So thank you for tuning in. I will just say as well is, because obviously this is mainly going to be Bloodline related and obviously news related. This week, I obviously answered a couple of questions, but I do want to change up the format a little bit from what we used to do beforehand. And to be able to do that is now obviously, as you are fully aware, at DKO, we have made our exclusive platform called The Front Row. And as of next week, I will be officially launching a new show in which we'll be doing a Q&A on that one, where you can join the show and everything like that. And the only place you're going to be able to find it is via The Front Row. So that's visit the front row well, the website address is thefrontrow.net. Sign up today. We will be doing we have an exclusive streaming platform on there, which is not YouTube or X or anything like that. Basically, it is our own platform which we have actually made. Please visit and please make sure to join that show. I will be taking questions throughout the week in relation to what to answer, and those questions will be answered on said show next week. And also any comments and stuff like that from there, or any live questions that I get in during the show as well, I will attempt to answer the best that I can do. So we shall see you over on the front row. Now, I don't know what day that's going to be on yet, but I will announce that on my Twitter during the week as it comes up, or in the Discord if you're on there. It will also be announced in there. I do just want to say thank you to Ed for obviously joining this week again. Well, obviously my new co-host now for putting the blood in line. I do just want to thank everyone as well for watching and listening. I can see at the moment, our live viewership count at the moment is 293. That's our current live viewership count.
293 goats. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we do it for. We do it for the people, the 293 goats that watched. We do it for them because they care about what we have to say. And if it wasn't for them, we have nothing to say. So thank you to those great viewers, the greatest of all time. Yeah.
So once again, thank you for tuning in and stuff. Don't forget to follow all of the the DKO ads have been on the screen all day, all show basically. You can also find us. Well, I'll go through my ads, and I can go through his. But like I said, don't forget to sign up to the Front Row. That is again thefrontrow.net for anyone who did not hear that earlier. There will be exclusive shows. In fact, we've got an exclusive show airing on there tonight. So tune in. I do believe it's 5 p.m. PST. So I don't know when that is. It's in like 45 minutes, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, so 5 p.m. PST. We've got an exclusive show streaming on there tonight from one of our creators. So yeah, sign up and see what you think to the platform.
5 PST, everybody, is, if you guys don't know, 5 PST is 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 4 Anchorage time, 2 o'clock Hawaiian time.
Fair enough. So that's in 45 minutes then. So yeah.
1 o'clock American Samoa time.
So that's in 45 minutes then. So don't forget then to tune into that show. It's going to be a good show because I know the guys who are doing it and they always put out damn good content. And now they are officially DKO. Well, the DKO now, DKO Superstars. So they will be doing their first show through the Front Row this evening. Once again, thank you for tuning in. I am Zero, and you can find me at DKO Zero that's basically on all platforms. I'll get Ed to do his one, and then he might as well do his normal ending to the show that we used to do, if you can remember that one. And then that'll be the show over with. So so over to my co-host, over to my co-host Ed to end the show.
The only thing I miss from doing those outros, from doing the OG putting the bloodline outros, is I got to play Roman's entrance theme or his exit theme as I was doing my outro. You obviously can't hear because this is YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So yeah. Oh, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and X. So yeah, if I do that, we'll get copyrighted, and I don't want to be copyrighted. I'm sure Zero, my buddy over there, does not want to get copyrighted, so I cannot do that. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Or if you're listening on Spotify, thank you for listening to Putting the Blood in Line. Ladies and gentlemen, next week, next week will be Putting the Blood in Line, episode 2. I'm so glad this show is back. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a great afternoon, a great evening, a great Putting the Blood in Line show. And ladies and gentlemen, there's only one thing left to do. Put the blood in line and acknowledge us.